Well, jury selection began today in the trial of accused cop killer Jamie Hood. Hood is accused of killing an Athens policeman 4 years ago and has now decided to represent himself at trial. He will be tried in Athens, but the jury pool will come from Elbert County. Joining me now to give some perspective and talk more about this is Pate. Pate, always good to have you. So let's start with Jamie Hood representing himself. This is a death penalty case. How much leeway does the system have to overrule his decision to represent himself, given so much at stake?
Well, there is a lot at stake, but it's very difficult for a judge to say you're going to have a lawyer. If this defendant is competent, and he's gone through 2 evaluations to say that he is competent, then he has a right to represent himself as long as the court is comfortable that he at least knows what he's doing.
All right, so apparently the court is, because he has begun that journey. All right, but how much help does the system have to give him?
Well, that's a great question. Every judge is going to make sure that he has at least lawyers available to consult with. In this case, the judge has given him 2 public defenders who will be there in court listening to the evidence and will answer any questions he has. And if he decides in the middle of the trial he don't want to do it anymore, then the court can appoint one of those lawyers to take over.
All right, he's representing himself. We've already seen just a little bit of the video we've had since last week. He's been a bit belligerent in court. What kind of tone and atmosphere is this likely to set during trial?
Wow. The judge is going to have a very difficult time with Hood. He has before. In fact, I think they ordered a second evaluation simply because of the outburst during trial. If it gets really bad, the judge can have him shackled. The judge can even remove him from the courtroom, but I don't expect we're going to see that happen.
Is it fair to assume that he's not going to win this case?
It's very fair to assume that. I mean, he's already admitted on the record to at least one of these murders. The only real issue here is whether the death penalty is going to be imposed.
Yeah. All right. So a bit of it is just some exercise in the judicial system. That's all. While you're here, I want to ask you a couple of questions about Burl Ellis, whose trial is also getting underway. This is a retrial of the now suspended DeKalb County CEO. So what's the track record for retrials? Prosecution versus defense?
I think everybody has a different opinion based on their own personal experience. As a defense lawyer, I want to win the first time around because the second time around, the prosecution knows what I'm going to do. We have the advantage as defense lawyers of getting all the state's evidence ahead of time, but they don't necessarily know what we're going to do. The second time around, they know the witnesses I'm going to call and they know the way I'm going to handle it.
So will each side do something different? Will there be a different strategy for both sides, or is it just a matter of jury selection and having a different kind of jury?
Again, a great question, and I think it depends on which lawyer you ask. But I think it's all about who you put in the box, who the jurors are in the particular case. In the last case, we had an all-female jury, which was highly unusual in DeKalb County, really in any county. I think it depends on who's making the decision. The lawyers are going to try basically the same case. They've dismissed some counts. They may narrow it down a little bit, but you're going to see the same witnesses. And since all of their prior testimony is on record, we're probably going to see a lot of the same evidence.
All right. Well, we'll watch it, and I know you will too.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Hope you come back and talk to us some more about it.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, Paige.